Hey guys, this episode of the Ride Life podcast is brought to you by NightOwlRides.com. If you want premium motorcycle content, go follow his YouTube page at Night Owl Rides, his Instagram at Night Owl Rides, and head over to NightOwlRides.com and get yourself some premium merch, t-shirts, shirts, hats, all kinds of goodies on there. Check them out, NightOwlRides.com.
Season 1, Jim. We did 29 episodes this year, and I had fun. What about you? How you been? What's going on up there?
It's cool, but yeah, 29 episodes. You got me kind of like looking back through the episodes a little bit and kind of checking them out and being like, well, how did we only do 29? The first episode came out April 20th.
April, yeah.
Yeah, April 20th. But we definitely kind of like at first kind of dipped our toe in the water, and there were some weekends where we couldn't make it work, and we were kind of feeling our way through it and whatever. But it's been a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, we've met some cool people, and yeah, at the beginning I was kind of like doing an episode, and like on that Sunday I was kind of like, gotta do another episode. But now I get excited about doing episodes because we got things to talk about. We got good guests lining up, and it's just I think season 2 is gonna be fun. But let's talk a little bit about season 1. Because when we were on Dr. Harley on Wednesday night, if you didn't see that, go back to Dr. Harley's YouTube and check out our live. Jim and I were on there, and Rolling Throttle, I think his name is Drew, and he had some really good questions that I kind of wish I had some more time to think about to answer, because they were good questions, and I was kind of on the spot. And I think you were you really were kind of thrown off too. But let's go back to some of his questions, because he was asking like, where do we see this podcast in 2 or 3 years from now? And I really didn't know at the time, but after thinking about it for a little bit, I'm just thinking this podcast would be cool if we're still doing it, which I hope we are, because I enjoy it, and just have maybe a couple sponsorships where we can do some reviews on some parts. That's all. We're not in it for the money. We're in it for motorcycle stuff. If we can get some parts, hook up with some cool what am I thinking of, Jim? Cool companies to help us out,
I think when I tried to answer the question too, I said that I wanted the podcast to kind of keep going, but I wanted motorcycles to kind of seem accessible. There was a listener in there who was talking about how he has a hard time finding people to ride with, and we both like riding with people and riding alone. And I like the idea. This podcast seems to be bringing kind of a circle of people together. We got some plans going on. For next year, we'll get into that as kind of things come up, but where we're doing meetups with people, and I like the idea of the podcast kind of helping to kind of give, especially people that don't have a lot of riding partners, like give people a sense of community where they can be like, hey, if I show up to this, those guys are going to be there, and I listen to them, and they're going to bring these other guys that they talk about, and kind of bring everyone together. I think for me that's going to be a good goal.
Oh yeah, I mean, all walks of life. Like, you're a hell yeah brother. I'm not so much of a hell yeah brother, but hey, if hell yeah brothers come in, we all ride together, I'm happy. Seeing motorcycles riding in front of me, hearing them behind me, it's all good.
But what if they show up on a Honda or a Suzuki or a Yamaha?
It would all depend. If they're if they look cool, if they have a good look to them, I like them. I like those old cafe style CB 550s, CB 750s. So yeah, I'd definitely be into some of those. But
yeah, there's a lot of cool bikes out there. But yeah, I mean, he grilled us. He asked us a lot of tough questions. I definitely was not prepared, but you know what? It was good because it got me thinking about what we want to do, now, but what we want to do in the future too.
Yeah, well, it kind of reminds me of every Sunday night. We're not really prepared. We just come on here, and it's like welcome to our garage. We're just hanging out in the garage, talking about bikes, talking about anything that really comes up, making fun of Jimmy's mom, making fun of my dad, making fun of anything, just dudes in the garage talking. So it is 12 degrees out right now where I am. When I woke up this morning, it was about 7 degrees. So I'm kind of curious. And you said you heard from Roadie Riders. He did not ride today.
He did not ride today. Actually, so did you get a lot of snow Friday?
Not really, no.
All right. So I was up your way, up in Tilton, and I left Tilton at 1:30. I got to Norwood, which is 110 miles for the listeners, just to give that kind of an idea. It took me 3 hours and 43 minutes.
Jesus.
It snowed in Massachusetts really hard all day in about a 25 to 28 mile stretch. And then late in the day, it kind of spread out a little bit. But that stretch was on Route 95, the absolute worst road in the whole entire state. So later in the day, long story short, later in the day, it snowed in Rhode Island. The roads here are like the center of the roads are clear, but they're white with salt. The edges of the roads are all ice. It's a high of 19 here today. So I reached out to him because you asked the question. So I reached out to Rhodey and he said, no, he did not ride. The roads were awful. And he was not wrong. I mean, the end of my street, there's about 100 feet that they don't even sand or salt. People just park there. There's a park entrance right there. So it's probably from my house to there's 100 feet. They don't even, the state, they don't plow it. They don't salt it. They don't sand it.
Nice.
And so it's nasty. It actually, this is about as bad as it gets in Rhode Island in terms of like the ice hangover. Because normally when it snows here, it's in the 40s the next day and you get a ton of meltdown.
Yeah. Even after talking to Rhodey, it almost inspired me to get a few things for my road glide and maybe try going out. Probably 40 degrees would be my cutoff point. But get out there. I looked up, I can get lowers for my bike, black lowers for $58. Put those on. Excuse me. Put those on and maybe put some handguards on. And I think I could last. I could go a couple 100 miles in 40, 45 degree weather. So I might try it. Give me something. I got nothing to do in the winter, you know?
Yeah, it's that time of year. So it's the one thing that makes New England not relatable to at least half the country, right? So you can almost draw a line through the middle of the country where, like I saw people that I follow that are down in Florida. They're out riding in t-shirts today.
Oh yeah, like
down at the beach, hanging out, putting miles on.
Yeah, Cruzy Originals and Blockhead. They just had their biker build off, and they ended. Well, they had it at Cowboy Harley Davidson, which was in Austin, Texas. And they were in t-shirts. It looked warm and summery and fun. And
but I know Texas is kind of a funny state because when you get north, it does get pretty cold. I mean, I was in Dallas in January and the highs were like 50, which is better than here, but it's like consistently 50.
Yeah,
but it does get cold.
It's always
there.
windy.
Yeah.
So
I didn't get to spend a lot of time going around the city, but when we would go outside and hang out, it was cold. It wasn't like real comfy.
Yeah. So let's go back. Let's reminisce back onto season 1. So season 1, we made it. What? Probably maybe 20 episodes in, and we finally got some hate mail. So thank you, Kyle. And unfortunately, I don't have any Dynaparts on order that I can awkwardly talk about, but I just want you to know that soon as Christmas is over, I'm going to be ordering some parts, and I'm going to be talking about it, Kyle. So
I did send you a bike. You could order a lot of parts for that bike. $1,500. That 2003 Anniversary Sportster could be yours.
That I was looking that over. That is the worst. It's a 2003 Sportster. The tank looks like it has this tank lift on it made out of rebar, and it's got hard struts on it. The bike it'll cost me more than the bike is worth just to get it to ride normal. Never mind. Right.
So they used to make for Sportsters, there was a lift kit for the tank, but it wasn't severe. It was like maybe like a 3/4 inch to an inch like bracket that you would put on the front. It would just give it that little that little lean for the non-peanut tanks. It would kind of just bring it up and make it look a little bit more like a peanut tank, how they were kind of tall in the front. This guy had the whole tank mounted with what looked like an erector set. I don't know any of our listeners out there had the erector set, but you had these pieces of steel and they had all these holes in them and you could just put bolts through it and stuff like that. That's what it looked like. And it had to be, what would you say, 2 inches off the frame? Like
Yeah.
you could see underneath the tank.
Oh, it looked like he took apart a metal shelf in his garage and used those pieces, put them under his tank. It had this seat on it. I don't even know where the seat was from, but heat wrap on the exhaust. It was just these 16-inch handlebars, ape hangers.
And
It was horrible.
And it definitely didn't have a rear fender. I didn't notice if it had the front fender, but honestly, if I'm buying an anniversary bike, I don't care. Like, all right, if he made it like that and it's ugly and I want a 2003 Sportster, like if that's what I want, I'll buy it, but I want the other metal with it.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? I want that metal.
I looked at it. If that bike was probably 20 to 30 minutes from my house, I probably would have went and got it just to have it so I can beat the crap out of it and blow it up.
Well, you know what would be cool with a bike like that? Because that's a bike you're not going to spend any time riding a Sportster at all. So you could, if you wanted to, dip your toe into some like motor work.
Into what?
Into some motor work.
Oh, motorwork. Yeah.
Where you don't want to do it on something that you're really going to ride, because I know like that's kind of a hard line for me too, motorwork, but you might dip your toe into some motorwork if you had something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I really do enjoy working on the bikes just as much as I do riding them. So that's why when Rody talks about riding all winter, I kind of look forward to working on my bikes all winter. So it's that same kind of adrenaline and stuff. But, see,
I don't know. I'll just say this about the hate mail too. Like, I don't really like. I'm glad you listen. Even if you hate it, I'm glad you listen, because you know what? I want people to give us negative feedback and positive feedback. If all you do is tell me we're great, we're never going to change anything. We're never going to make this podcast different. But if everybody's out there going, dude, we don't want to hear about Brian's Diner anymore, well, we'll stop talking about it,
Come
or
on.
whatever. Or we don't want to hear fucking Jim talk about it, whatever. Like we want this podcast to be about bringing people together. So we don't want to turn people off. Like, I mean, there's always going to be internet trolls. I don't think this dude is like that, to be honest. Because he had made another comment on something I said, and I shouted him out. But if there's something we do that you don't like, we'll fucking look at ourselves and go, all right, do we want to keep doing this or not?
Yeah, hey, whatever. I enjoy it. I think, like I was going to say, so like everybody knows, Jim and I grew up together. We met when we were 5-6 years old. We hung out together up until high school. We hung out together a lot of the time. And then Jimmy went off to college, and I went into truck driving, and I was a truck driver. Jimmy was in college, and probably for 10 years or so, we talked to each other, but we never hung out. We were always back and forth with motorcycle stuff, but we never actually hung out so I think this podcast has actually brought Jim and I back together in our childhood, in my garage, talking about motorcycles, ordering parts, trying to fix bikes, trying to make them cool, make them the way we want. And then, Jim and I get to talk about it every Sunday night. So it's like, that's pretty much why we put the podcast together too, just so we can hang out and talk again. So
keep doing it. Yeah, we went through that period too. Like, well, we would do the we hung out like twice a year because we wanted to hang out, but I was off in New York and you were doing your thing, and then and then I was off in the middle part of the state and you're in the eastern part of the state, and like we were always like talking, but not like hanging out. And now, like, I've hung out with you more this year than I have in a long time, just because we talk all the time, but life just kind of gets in the way as you get older,
Yeah, and like I said, this podcast kind of helped all that shit. So, but anyways, moving on from that, season 1 was great. We had a lot of fun, and I'm pretty sure we're going to do a season 2. So stick around.
Definitely doing a season 2. We talked about it on Dr. Harley, and you brought it up, and I kind of agreed with you, but I'll give another one too. But what was your highlight for season 1? Like, what was your favorite thing?
I don't know. I think just having some of the guests on. When we had my buddy Todd on, it was great because I always talk to Todd, and for everybody else to hear him talk about his stories and his motorcycles, it's fun. So I really enjoy having guests on. So season 2, we're gonna try to have a guest on. We did talk about it a little bit, having every other week trying to get a guest, but I just got to get better at reaching out to people. I was watching. I mean, what got me into excited about doing a podcast was the Fast Life Garage. He does a podcast, an awesome podcast I listen to all the time. They're like 3 hours long, but I listen to him, and he just does cool shit. He's building in a shovelhead right now, and my buddy Todd has ridden with them and stuff, and it's just cool to meet people and have people inspire me to want to do a podcast. And so he put out a video today on YouTube about his shovelhead chopper that he's building, and it almost made me want to start my shovelhead. I mean, I kind of did because I got it running, so I just got to change some things up. And that reminds me, January 4th, if anybody's in the Northeast, January 4th, there's a swap meet. It's in Haverhill. I'd have to get the details, but it's put on by, I don't even remember, but I've been to the swap meet before. It's an indoor swap meet, obviously, and I'm hoping to find some shovelhead parts.
There's another one coming up too. Bear with me here.
No, I think I'm getting sick. Right.
Where is it?
Oh, here's that one. So it's it's EasyCo and La Espada presents the Winter Swap Meet. So it's in Haverhill, vintage chopper and Harley parts, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., $5 to get in. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping to find some parts.
Yeah, there's gonna be a swap meet at Manchester Harley on February 15th too.
Really? Did you know Manchester Harley's moving their whole location?
Are they really?
Yeah, they're moving to. Oh, I was just talking to my buddy Zach about this. They're moving to, I think, Merrimack, New Hampshire, where there used to be a movie theater. So it's going to be. So I don't know if Harley Davidson is kind of going this way with their dealerships, but this is going to be a what they call a super Harley Davidson dealership. It's gigantic. So I don't know what direction they're going with, but this is going to be. They showed like a drawing, like a blueprint drawing, and it's just giant. It's literally a movie theater with a huge addition put on the back. So I'm kind of.
I think Harley kind of wants to go the way of the dealership being being a destination in and of itself. Like Manchester Harley Davidson, if you walk into it, it's definitely like an older Harley dealer. Like you recognize it. It's like the brick everywhere, and it's kind of got the same look and the same feel. They do a good job out of there. They have a fucking ton of bikes because they have a good footprint, like in the front and in the back, and where they can keep stuff. But when you're inside, it feels like every Harley dealer you used to go to 20 years ago. If you walked in there and you were blindfolded, you could be like, oh, I'm at the old Boston Harley Davidson, or I'm at the old Kelly's House of Harley Davidson, or any of them. So they're definitely like wanting to make those more like destinations.
Oh, for sure. Like Destination Daytona. I mean, that guy, Bruce Rossmeyer, he changed the scenery for Harley Davidson dealerships. And, he passed away way too young, and who knows what he would have done if he was still around with the dealerships now. But yeah, totally. I agree.
For sure. So I kind of like the biggest thing for me, and like the highlight for me in like season 1 was really like people actually like reaching out and messaging and just being like, oh man, I love your show. Keep doing what you're doing. We really enjoy it. Like that stuff is like, to be honest, I was thinking about this today because I knew we were doing this episode. I'm like, how did anyone ever even listen to us? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, so we create this podcast, right? And I find out like, all right, how to put it on Spotify, how to put it on Apple, but we posted about it on Instagram, and like, yeah, some family members probably listen to it or whatever, but like strangers, people I've never met before in the world, have no connections to, listen to this podcast, followed our Instagram, followed followed us on Apple or Spotify, and are reaching out and be like, "Oh man, we love your show. We, keep it up. You guys are so cool. You're relaxed, So that for me was the highlight because I'm like,
Yeah,
why are you listening to me?
yeah. Well, you know what? We did meet a bunch of people, and I did meet. So I met this guy, Brendan, in New York at the Indian Larry show, and we had him on the show. And behind the scenes, we had a collaboration. So he is sponsoring a couple episodes. So this episode, last episode, and a couple more into season 2 are going to be sponsored by Night Owl Rides. So check it out. He's got this new shirt I just got. Dude, this thing, this is a really cool design. Can you see that?
Yeah, do the hold it by the top a little bit more. All right, lower it down. Perfect.
Yeah. So nightowlrides.com. You get all sorts of merchandise. He's got this little logo in the front. But so this is a maroon, but he's got black, he's got white, he's got all sorts of different, anything. You can put his logo on, I think coffee holders and everything. But yeah, so Night Owl Rides. Go check him out, Brendan. He's a wicked cool guy. He's got a good YouTube channel going on right now. He just bought a Dyna that he's going to be ripping apart and putting new parts on. So get over to Night Owl Rides. Follow us, subscribe to his YouTube channel, and see what he does with this Dyna. I mean, even if you think he's doing a horrible job, let him know, because he'd want to know.
And he doesn't. And go check him out on Instagram too, Night Owl Rides. So everything is Night Owl Rides. And he puts out like really some like high-end, high quality edited videos. He went to that event and he talked about it on this show. The what was the event in New Jersey, Bry?
The Trog.
The Trog. He went to the Trog down in New Jersey and took hours and hours and hours of video and condensed it down and really put out some top-notch products. So he's got you with the merch. He's got you with awesome videos. So definitely go follow him. Check him out.
Yep. And I'm excited. I want to see what he does with this Dyna, because, I got a Dyna and he just bought this Dyna. So, but you've never met him, but you're going to meet him coming up soon, Jim. So,
yeah, he said on this show, if we go to Americade, which we are, that he's coming.
yep.
So I'm gonna try to see if Rhodey will ride out with me, and Dr. Harley said he's not interested, but I'm gonna try to get him to come too.
It's all right. If we don't meet up with Doctor, we'll meet up with him somewhere else. But yeah, go check out Brendan. He's a really cool dude. He's got a real job. He does this on the side, and he's the one that helped us with our logo. So he made up a new logo for us, and he redefined it and put in my bike and made the quality, the resolution a lot better. So I took that and I sent it off to I got a buddy that does screen printing. So I got about 15, so like 8 hoodies and 7 t-shirts being made up right now. So we're going to have some t-shirts, some hoodies, if anybody wants to buy Ride Life Podcast merch.
For sure. And maybe a giveaway.
Maybe, yeah, we might give one away. But
might give one away.
If you want to come in and be an in-studio guest in the Ride Life studio with me right here, you'll get a t-shirt.
Yeah, you don't want to come here. You get shot in my neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, then, you might, if you go there, you might have Rhodey knocking on your door and wanting to talk to you too.
making you ride when it's 12 out.
Please. Hey, if he's not riding, he's talking. Because, damn.
Yeah, that makes him a good guest, though. We don't even have to be on. We could have left. We could have just let him just talk.
Yeah,
no one would even know we were gone.
Yeah, he's fun. I'm looking forward to ride with him again soon. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
But so for the last episode of season 1, I came up with these things, Jim. This is a little segment that I came up with. I'm going to be doing this from time to time. It's called "Does Jim Know?" Because I feel like, Jim, he was in the motorcycle world a little bit, not quite as deep as me. I said that before. And he's learning, which I like. I like having him on here. He's learning. I can make fun of him a little bit here and there, just like you would in the garage. So I got like 5 questions for you, Jim. Let's start off with, Does Jim know? First question. You said you were a fan of Biker Build-Off. Can you name 2 builders other than Billy Lane and Indian Larry that were on the show?
Yeah, the guy from
We're gonna need real names here.
I'm never gonna remember the names. I can tell you right now, I'm never gonna remember the names. I just watched a documentary on him too. The guy from oh god, you could order their like kits online. We talked about him on this show.
Yeah,
Um
I think I know who you're talking about.
Scott, was it Scott?
Oh.
I'm never gonna pull his name out. Wasn't Jesse James on there too?
Nope.
Jesse James was not on there.
No, not on.
Oh no, he did that. He did that thing with the Tuttles and I forget who the other one was. So I did. That was a long time ago. I'm not gonna pull a name. The guy from the guy from the. I just watched the stupid documentary on it too.
I put this question first. I really thought you might get this.
No, I'm so bad. But all right, so you got to understand. Like when I watch those shows, I paid attention to the bike and the build that was going on, but I just.
All right. So we got one wrong. Jimmy does. So I mean, you had the Detroit Brothers. You had Russell Mitchell from Exile Cycles. You had Dave Perowitz. You had Paul.
Oh Jesus, Dave Perowitz, and I knew that.
Yeah, come on.
And yeah, no, who's the guy I'm thinking of? Remember, we talked about it on the show. You could order like the kits online.
I don't know. Like what kind of kits you talking? Like hardtail kits?
No, it was like literally like a bike. Like
that was Sucker Punch Sally's. But
Sucker Punch. He was on that, wasn't he?
No, he was never on there either. Wow,
he wasn't. Scott, isn't his name Scott?
No, his name was Jeff Cochran.
Oh, well, all right. I'm way off.
All right. Question number 2. Does Jim know? All right, so well, supposedly you know about the Dyna. You love the Dyna. What years did the Dyna exist?
I want to say, 2017, I believe, was the last year, or 2019 was the last year. 92 or 93.
Okay, so that's your final answer, 92 to 2018?
I never, is it 19 or 17? I can't remember, but it's in that range.
All right. Well,
it might only be like 21, but it's in that range.
Oh, geez. You were close. All right, so from 1991 to 2017.
Right. See, I knew it was like 17 and 19, but I couldn't. For some reason, I always have 93. I have 92 to 93 in my head.
All right, so you're 0 for 2. Not bad. All right, so where was the original West Coast Choppers located?
Ooh, like, are you looking for the city?
Yeah, like where was it? Yeah.
I feel like he was in Los Angeles, but now I feel like that's wrong.
Oh boy.
It's a suburb of. If it wasn't Los Angeles, it was a suburb. That's all I got.
All right. Well, 0 for 3. Long Beach, California.
Yeah, Long Beach, just right next door.
Yeah. All right. So I got 2 more questions for you. So these are.
This is awful.
Since you're 0 for 3, these are true or false questions. So
I got a 50% chance.
So, all right. The FXR had a shovel head motor in it.
Early on, I think it did. True.
You're correct.
Yeah, nice early on it did.
Yep. All right. Good job. All right. So did big cities use the Sportster model as their police bikes to make it easier to get around the towns?
I've never seen one. Definitely not up here. I gotta say false.
That's correct. All right. Good job so far.
I've never seen one.
All right.
It was always an Electra.
One more question. Did OCC start off making carnival rides?
From what I remember from the show, no, that's false. The father was making like old school, like chopper style bikes forever. I
Well,
don't remember anything about carnival rides.
all right, yeah, you're right. That's false. It wasn't Carnival Rides. He was actually in um like the steel business. So I think they were making like railings for stairs and stuff like that,
Yeah,
welding and
and
stuff.
he did the like chopper thing on the side.
Yeah, I believe he did it like in his garage, but the main
Yeah,
business was like OCC or Orange County Metal Works or something like that. I don't really know because I'm not a huge fan of OCC, but
I do actually kind of remember that,
I thought I'd just throw that in there. So
but not anything about. I don't know that they were ever that specific about it. I think they talked about like they made metal. They were just basically doing metal fabrication.
yeah, Metal Fab Shop. All right. All right, well, that was my new segment. Does Jim know? And he failed horribly on the
I
questions, but
mean, I got 50%.
the,
But you gotta
uh,
understand too, like, and especially now, I haven't watched those biker build offs in a long time, but like, dude, I was bad with stuff like that. Like, I would watch the bike and focus on the bike, but the whole people, like,
yeah.
50 people, the most famous people could come in and be on that. And I would be just looking at the bike and I wouldn't even be looking at like what they were saying or who was talking or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
That's
weird
funny
that way.
because like I said I wrote down give me two guys. I thought that would be pretty easy. That's why I made it two, but I should have just made it one because you wouldn't even have got one.
Yeah, but I probably haven't watched those in 12 years. I mean,
Yeah,
when
that's
was the
so.
last new one that came on?
I don't know, but yeah, it was a long time ago. But well, then they had remember they had the World Biker Build Off.
I don't think I ever watched that one.
No, that was like three of them. That was Russell Mitchell, some dude from Australia. I forget his name, but he made this all chrome bike, and then some other guy from the States. So
It's funny because I watched a lot of those things, but like I said, the only people that I really paid attention to was when Jesse James had his own show, and for whatever reason, I always watched Orange County Choppers because it was like watching a train wreck.
So when Jesse James had his own show, you're talking Monster Garage.
No, didn't he have a bike show too, or did he just do some bike stuff on Monster Garage?
No, he had three series of Motorcycle Mania. So
Maybe
one of
that's
the
something.
series he rode to Sturgis with Indian Larry and Chopper Dave, and then he
I
went to
vaguely remember
Mexico.
that.
He went to Mexico with Kid Rock. Remember that one?
That one I don't remember at all.
No. Okay. I should have put those in the questions. All right, that's cool. But
Oh, I mean, now just the whole fucking thing. So,
hey, Jim, would you look at the time? It's time to talk about what are you drinking in your garage tonight?
well, I'm gonna move on from this
Besides the
Bud
Bud
Light
Light.
pretty
What?
soon.
All right, I'll go first. So I'm gonna shout out to my little brother. He's been listening. So I have three brothers. None of them are into motorcycles. None of them care about cars. And Michael is the only one that I have ever convinced to go get a custom exhaust put on his pickup truck and do some sort of modifications to his vehicles. So we've always had that in common. And he listens to the podcast, and he's a big beer drinker. He loves to drink beer way more than me. And he said, "Yo, are you doing a beer review tonight? I got one for you." And I saw him earlier today, and he gave me this is this is a beer from our hometown, Treehouse Brewery. Have you been there?
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I have not. I went there when it was the country club.
Yeah. So I guess Treehouse Brewing Company. I think they have more than one location, but they got one in Tewksbury, and I guess it's always crowded. And I've never had anything to do with Treehouse. So this is I don't know what it is. This is they just call it SAP, SAP, and that's a government warning. Okay, I don't know why they have that on there. Let's see. All right, so this is a hop-filled American IPA.
Ooh.
Let's try it. I'm gonna try it. Obviously, I didn't do any research. I don't know what the can says or anything. So, but I'm thirsty because I'm starting to get sick. So, ooh, that is very hoppy. Very. Not bad though. It didn't quite have a aftertaste like a lot of them do. Yeah, it's not bad. So I could probably drink this whole thing. Probably only one, but I could probably drink this. So Treehouse Brewing Company, SAP, SAP, in a red can. Not bad. I would give this probably a 6 out of 10. I would say. I probably wouldn't buy any myself, but it's not bad. What do you got tonight
All
over
right.
there, Jim?
So I wanted to get something a little bit festive for the season. So
Ooh.
I looked and I wanted something that was a little bit, wanted to see the can and some snowflakes and stuff like that. So
Ooh,
I went a
snowflake.
little I went a little off kilter. I got a Stormalong Happy Holidays holiday spiced cider.
Cider. Oh God, I had a
Yeah, I
cider.
know. I couldn't find a holiday beer. So it says unfiltered hard cider made with a blend of holiday spices, bursting with flavors, freshly baked apple pie, and mulled cider. And it's a nice looking can.
All right, let's see the can. Oh yeah, happy holidays. Yeah, that's very festive. I like it.
So this part was not intentional. I was looking at it after, and it says produced and canned by Stormalong Cider, Leominster, Massachusetts.
Oh, your old stomping grounds.
Yeah, not too far from where I used to live. So I'm typically like cider. It's like a one cider deal, like the old days of drinking the cider jacks and all that. And no, but let's.
God,
It's
cider
not a,
jack.
yeah, that's a good way to be on the bowl all day the next day.
So while you sip this, I was just looking at mine. Mine is 7% alcohol. Is this American IPA?
Ooh.
So
That's I don't know what this is. I'll look it up. This smells good. It smells like pumpkin pie, actually.
pumpkin pie. And
That is actually really good.
really,
It's really tasty.
yeah,
It's weird. Like I feel like so it smells a little bit like pumpkin pie. When you first taste it, it tastes like pie crust, and then you get overwhelmed with apple. It's really good.
huh.
Boy, these would be dangerous.
Well, you know what? I did a shot today with one of my other brothers. Was I think it was Dr. McGillicuddy apple pie. Have you ever had one of those?
I've not had the Dr. Apple Pie, no.
Oh my God, it was delicious. Like I loved it. So
So this tastes like we talked about the apple pie moonshine. That's what this tastes like. Like it almost tastes like pie crust, and then like it's got a cinnamon stick in it, and there's all this apple. It's and they're only 5.2% alcohol, so that's good.
all right,
But boy, that's pretty good. Storm along. Happy holidays. Hard cider. Right here from Massachusetts.
awesome.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
right here,
I'm
but
I'm really looking forward to reviewing a beer that I actually really like because I can't get into these IPA things. It's just that bitter taste. You know what I mean?
well, I'm not a big IPA guy either. So a
Yeah.
lot of people really like them.
Yeah.
That's why every time I grab a beer, I'm looking for a white ale, a pale ale,
Yeah.
a simple lager, an English brown style I like, but the IPAs I always find them bitter.
Yeah, that's bitter. That's why I always like the Blue Moon or something. But all right, that's our
I
beer
wish I could.
review for the week.
I wish I could send this to you through the computer. Look at it; it's got a little
No,
piece of pie on the
it
back.
does look pretty good.
It's. If you ever see this, it's pretty damn good. So if you're out there,
Let's check it out. So, all right, make sure if you're testing out these beers, make sure you only drink 3 or 4 of them before you jump on the bike. So,
yeah,
be
unless
careful.
you're a professional like me, then you can have 8. But that's only for me and other functioning alcoholics. That's
Yeah,
not for everybody.
typical truck driver right there.
Well, the thing is, I get piss tested, so I can't rip an 8-ball.
Oh, all right.
So
Ugh.
we got hopefully your
Yeah,
mom's not still listening.
she's our number one fan. Hi, Mom. I love you.
Oh, she's the one who sends all the hate mail.
Oh, yeah. She always wanted to name me Kyle. That's why she says it's Kyle. No, it's
Really?
really her.
She wanted to name you Kyle?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my parents wanted to, like, they had no idea what to name me. And if you're looking at my parents' house, the house next door, they were always very friendly with them.
Yeah,
And the woman that lived there, she had two brothers that died, James and Michael, and that's where I got my names from.
that's funny.
Yeah. They died like right before I was born, and they were like, "Oh, James Michael." Yeah, like, all right.
All right.
I was going to be James Earl, so
James Earl
that's
Jones.
yeah. Well, more like James Earl Ray. So we'll.
Jesus.
I'm glad I wasn't James Earl.
All right. So I got a question for you. So
All right.
it's cold. Your bike is, you ain't riding. I might ride
No.
because I don't put my bike in storage or anything. But why the fuck do we live in New England? And what do you do with your bike in the winter if you're not like me and work on it and have a heated garage where if a nice day comes out, I can just bounce out and go. Do you bring your bike to a dealership and pay $1,000 for them to store it? I mean, that seems crazy to me.
So there's some smaller places that have some storage. It's like 350, 400. That includes like an oil change, and they put it on a battery tender for you and stuff. So when you start weighing all of that, it's not terrible. I actually don't like paying for storage. I want to have access to the bike in case, like, we do get like weird random like 70-degree days in January, like not every year, not all the time, but it does happen.
It definitely does.
Yeah, but I want to have access to my bike, and I've never really been tempted to pay for storage, but I would like a place to keep it, like, not just under a cover. So, I've always kind of been like, oh, well, I can keep it here. I can keep it here. When I was at the old place, I at least had a, like, just, it's a covered carport. It wasn't four walls, but at least it was, if I put it in the middle of that, it wasn't going to get snow on, on top of the bike cover and things like that. Where I'm at now, it's under a cover. That's what I got. But I don't know. What would you do? Like, if you didn't have a garage, would you pay for storage? You wouldn't have 5 bikes, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I probably would pay for storage and have a storage unit because I see a bunch of guys, they take pictures for their Instagram in front of their storage units. And I guess, if you're not gonna have a garage, a storage unit's the best second option, right? The only thing that sucks is like,
oh, go ahead.
no, I said the only thing that sucks is like, so I got motorcycles on my fucking brain all the time. So like, I'll be lying in bed and thinking like, wait a minute, what is the measurement of that? I'd have to go outside, measure something or look at something so I can order a part, and it's right there. So if I had a storage unit, I'd be like, oh my god, drive there at 2 a.m. to look at my bike, and I don't know.
Well, and you're kind of a unique guy, right? So a lot of people aren't like you. Like, you're a truck driver, but you also have a lot of like carpentry skills and that. So if you had a house that didn't have a garage, you would build some kind of a shed. So for you, it kind of doesn't really apply. But I'd like to hear from people like out there, like, all right, if you don't have a garage, what are you doing with your bike all winter? Where's it going?
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. That's a line one time. Like, you're looking for a house, right? Like, why would you buy a house without a garage? That's like dating a chick without a pussy.
Especially in New England. Like, at least, even if you weren't a motorcycle guy in New England, like, the worst part about a winter storm is clearing the cars, and you got to like snow blow around them, and you got to like clear the cars off. Then you got to put the cars out in the road and then clear the area where the cars were. At least, like, if you're in New England, you got to have at least a single car garage.
Yeah. Well, I guess that part sucks. And I still got to clear off my truck in the driveway and stuff. So I've had garages in all my houses, and I don't think I've ever parked my vehicle in the garage. So,
well, but again, you're kind of unique. So you have the Mustang, and you have motorcycles, and you have all these other things that go in the garage where the regular car is supposed to go. So,
it's like when I go by these houses and their garage doors up and it's all clean and they got their car parked in there and like, that's it, no toolbox. I'm like, well, that's weird, but well, maybe I'm weird. I don't know.
I'll never forget when I was living in Gardner, and I was looking at houses, and there was like a your classic 3 style ranch home. Everybody's been in one. You walk in that front door and it's like the living room / like dining area combo, and then there's like the 3 bedrooms down the hall, and it had probably 3/4 of an acre. On the back of it, they built this massive steel garage with like lifts in there.
Yep.
I wanted that house so fucking bad just for that garage
Oh.
because it was awesome. Like you could have stored an airplane in that thing.
When I was looking for this house, I'm like, the first thing I want to see is a picture of the garage. Those are the first pictures. I want to see the garage first, then I'll worry about the house. But the garage is all motorcycle riders. The garage is just very important to us. So.
Yeah, for sure. And you're a hobbyist too, so even if you weren't like a motorcycle guy and you just had your Mustang or whatever, you want a place to be in there.
Yeah, I just got a new heater for my garage. It's a Mr. Heater, 70,000 BTUs. It runs off a diesel, and it's quiet, radiant heat technology. They say, and it is pretty quiet because you know how those they call them like the salamander propane. But it's like a torpedo.
Okay, the torpedo ones.
Yeah, the torpedo ones. Those things are wicked loud. But this one, dude, I can set the climate. I set it to like 60 degrees. Heats up the garage, probably 15, 20 minutes. It's nice and warm. Doesn't smell like anything. Doesn't smell like propane. My eyes aren't watering. And dude, I'm out in the garage all the time now. That's like a game changer.
Yeah. Rody and I were talking about his garage. He was talking about it last week, but he's working on the garage. And I'm like, well, listen, it's winter. If you need somebody to come help you, I need a hobby. He's like, as soon as it hits 40, 50, I'll be out there again. But he's like, I'll let you know. But he's doing some work on his garage. And I'm like, I need something to do, so I'll come help you work on the garage. Whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Can't ride, might as well do something. Hang out with Rody, have some drinks, get some root beer.
If I come work on his garage and it's 40 and I don't ride over.
Like, how am I supposed to bring my tools?
That's true. That's true.
So I heard that in season 2, I'm going to be able to talk about Daytona because it's getting close. Daytona is 68 days away from departure. So that's probably going to be the next time I actually ride a motorcycle, unless we get a good 40, 45 degree day here.
Let's lay this out. Are we doing an episode next week? We originally said no, and then we thought we might.
No, well, the only reason I was thinking about this, so I was going to talk to you about this off air, but we'll talk about it right now.
Yeah.
So my buddy Todd from Long Island is supposed to be coming up to New Hampshire to grab a trailer from.
That's what it was.
Yeah. So if he still comes here and hangs out, we'll do an episode with him, but that'll be the beginning of season 2.
Yeah, that'll be season 2. So originally, like season 2 is going to be whatever that first Sunday is in January. Like it's probably around the 4th or 5th.
It's 5th because the swap meet's on the 4th. So yeah, January 5th will be season 2, and I'm really hoping he gets to come over because I don't know, I want to see him, I want to hang out with him, and he's never been to my house. And if it's nice out, I told him we'll go for a ride on the bikes, which is not going to be nice out, but we can still just go for a little blast and do a podcast and hang out. So I'm really hoping he's coming. He's supposed to be coming the weekend after Christmas. So if he has time, he's going to swing in here. And
yeah, so if he's here, we'll do it. We'll lay it down. I'm free.
Yep. Yeah.
We'll do something. And it's a little different down where he lives. Like I lived down there for 4 years. The winters are definitely lighter down there. I'm sure he can do a lot more riding. He's got a lot going on too. He's got some bikes cooking and shit like that.
So. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's why I want to get him on. I want to hear about his new FXR build he's doing. And I want to know what happened to his current FXR. I guess he blew it up or something. Something went wrong. I want to hear all about that. And what else? Yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff going on. So I'm talking to him on Instagram. He's a cool dude. So I want to get to know some more stuff. What's going on?
So yeah. So otherwise, season 2, Brian's going to get to talk about Daytona, getting ready for Daytona, going to Daytona, being at Daytona. And I think too, for us for season 2, like one of the things that we're going to try to do is when when we are together, we'll try to record some clips too. Like it might be 10 minutes, might be 15 minutes that we'll do, and I'll kind of stitch them together, and we can throw them in podcasts, or we'll throw them up as like kind of special episodes and stuff like that too. So we get that to look forward to. Do you have any goals or anything you have in mind for season 2? Do you?
Yeah. So for season 2, like I said, I hope the podcast grows. This summer we're going to get out and about and get to meet people. So I hope the podcast grows. I hope we meet more people that we can just, call up and chat about motorcycles together, and just like not even have a fan base. I'm just saying, just have more people we can reach out to, and say we're going to New York. We got someone there we can go hang out with, talk about stuff. Or we're going to Connecticut. We got someone there, just have people across the country to like stay at their place or go riding with them. And that's what it's all about.
I think for me, like when we did this last year, we really were like talking about it a little bit, and we said, all right, we're going to do it. Well, we didn't have anything laid out for the year. I think for me, it's going to be like getting to more events, getting out to just more people, whether that's New York, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, whatever. I'm going to be like, hey, listen, we're going here. This is what we're doing. Let's get out. Let's just do that riding and getting out and just doing more stuff, like more events and being more visible.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I mean, more events, but I just lost all train of thought what I was going to say. But no, we're gonna be able to we're gonna tell you where we're gonna be for the event. So hopefully we can meet up with other people. Like if anybody's listening, that's gonna be in Daytona. I know I'm gonna meet up with Dr. Harley in Daytona. So anybody listening, you want to go? You going to Daytona? Let me know. Friggin', if it's your first time, show you some cool spots, do some cool things. If you've been there,
so I'm looking this up real quick.
All right.
Just because we talked about it a little bit when we were on with him. Laconia this year is June 14th to June 22nd.
Okay.
So I feel like that's a hair on the late side.
Was it June 14th to what?
June 22nd.
Yeah, that's about normal because it always ends on Father's Day.
Yeah, but I always feel like my anniversary is right in the middle of it, which is June 12th.
Yeah. And when is Mobbing in the Mountains this year?
So that's what I wanted to look at. Mob in the Mountains, and I just looked this up the other day. It's right after that.
Oh, it's right after, and then look, Americade right before. So June could be a pretty popular month.
Mob in the Mountains 2025 is June 18th to June 22nd. So it's right in the middle of Laconia.
Okay. Oh, all right. So that's going to be tough. All right. Well,
So
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in checking that out. Probably not for all the 5 days or whatever, but
yeah, I mean Laconia is nothing anymore anyway, so whatever.
Well, Laconia for me at this point is just an opportunity to come up there and be like, all right, we're gonna ride the Kangamangas, and we kind of do the same thing. We hit up the vendors at Laconia Harley Davidson, and if somebody wants to sponsor us and commit us to being there and shaking hands and kissing babies, we'll do it. But I'm not gonna hold my breath. But I'd like to check out Mob in the Mountains. I think that'd be a cool adventure for us. Maybe we can get you down here like on a Thursday or something, and we ride out Thursday night and get there and ride home on a Sunday or something. Something along those lines. Yeah. I'd like to check that out. When I think of like what would attract me to want to go to an event and go away, that feels like the event. The way they were talking about it, like they ride all day, party all night, sleep, do it all again.
Yeah. What else is there more to do?
But we don't do that. Like we don't do that in Laconia. Like we ride, but like honestly, we could all be like, oh, we're going to Brian's house on Friday, May 10th and go ride for the weekend.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So, I mean, Laconia is just this other, like Gunstock Mountain, there's events going on that we'd like to go to, but Laconia's a far away. We're not even talking about Laconia. We got
Do you
Daytona
even-
first.
Let me ask you a question. Do you even get excited about Laconia out like the way you do about Daytona?
No, not at all. I mean, Laconia will be coming up, and I'll be like, oh yeah, maybe I'll do something. Maybe I'll go for a ride that day. But no, it's right. I'm not traveling to get there. It's right in my backyard.
I'm more excited about going out for the weekend for Americade. Like
Yeah,
just
I'm excited.
because that's something totally different.
I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun. But I think it's just going to be fun because we'll meet up with other people, like from New York, our buddies from New York. And even if we don't get, I don't even care about Americade. It's about the ride. So at that point,
Yeah, we probably owe it to ourselves if we're out there to at least go check out whatever the layout is.
yep. Oh, for
But
sure.
I'm excited to go ride the Adirondacks.
Yep.
And that's new to us, and you know he kind of told us like it's definitely a different vibe, but I'm excited to at least go check it out once.
For sure. So I'm fading away over here, Joe. I feel like I'm starting to get sick. This isn't good.
Are you dying?
No, I don't know. I've got this little cough and all
That's
this.
the season.
Yeah, the talking's kind of aggravating, and this friggin' treehouse isn't helping my throat. And Jesus. And you're drinking 7 Bud Lights over there, and I should have brought down a water or a Corona.
Only 3 Bud Lights and one cider. I'm into my second cider right now.
So, all right. Well,
That's a good night for me. That's a solid, easy night for me.
good. I'm happy for you. But
So we can wrap this shit. Listen.
Yeah, that's the end of season 1. Thanks to everybody who listened. We appreciate you all, and whoever messaged us or whatever you did. We appreciate it. We see it. We like it. Keep it up.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'd shout out a few people real quick, like our buddy Jack, HD AV Traveler, Burnt Up Wood Burning, Night Owl Rides, Dr. Harley, Roadie Riders, oh God, Corey. I mean, there's just so many like awesome people that have reached out to us that dude, you guys make this so much fun when you write in and you're like, hey man, I like this. Rolling Throttle for grilling the shit out of us. I'm gonna reach out to him, get him on this podcast, but I'm gonna grind on some questions for him.
Oh yeah,
sure.
we gotta do our homework before we bring him on.
Yeah, like but you guys make it so much fun. Season 1 was awesome. I'm fired up for season 2 for sure. We got to get through these cold months, but I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, I think season 2 is gonna be great. I can't wait, and I'm glad we're still doing this. I love it. I love doing this shit.
Yeah, that's all I got, man. Well, if we don't see you next Tuesday, we'll see you in 2 Tuesdays.
Well, hey, wait a minute. Go to the Ride Life podcast on YouTube. Subscribe there. We got, this podcast comes out on there along with other little videos and shorts that I throw up. And you can go Instagram, the Ride Life Brian, the Ride Life Jim, or the Ride Life podcast. Go follow them all. We'd love to see you on there. So that's all I got, Jim.
That's all I got, man.
All right. See you next Tuesday.
We'll see you next Tuesday.